Gut. Mal schauen wir mal, wie es heute läuft. I felt a cold breeze and lifted my head. I could finally see the sky. We'd made it outside, somehow. The Guy institution had exploded and collapsed, so getting out through all the rubble was an ordeal. I looked around.
Damn.
The whole area was wrecked. Juno scowled in pain. I'd been holding her up.
Enough! Let go of me already.
Since she insisted, I sat her down where she stood. Her side was covered in blood, and her face was even paler than normal. When the explosion had happened, I was overwhelmed by flashbacks and found myself stuck in front of the cradle. If Juno hadn't appeared and saved me with her quantum teleportation, I probably would have been buried under the rubble. But right after we teleported out, I noticed the rebar chittering out from her body.
This isn't your fault. There was always the chance this would happen. I knew the risks. It's because I always use maps for my coordinates. What's with that stupid look? Don't act like you don't get it. Basically, if I jump around a place that's collapsing, certain obstacles aren't going to show up on the map. This isn't even that bad. I could have teleported inside a wall.
Still, you've saved me twice now. So, thanks.
Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't do it for your sake. I don't want you dying and leaving Kent disappointed. I'll see you work yourself to near death, and then I'll kill you myself. Understand? Now, don't just stand there. Help me get this out.
Juno was still doing her tough lady act, but it was pretty clear her injury hurt really bad. It looked like she couldn't even control her BMI properly. She'd probably struggle to teleport like that. I hadn't really given her a chance to brush off my help as we made our way out. But with things the way they were, it might have been impossible to get her some help or take her to a hospital. I saw someone waving at us from the distance. Nothing else around here was moving, but it was probably easy to spot us.
Hold on! Momo!
Momo ran over to us, almost tripping over the rubble on her way.
I am so glad you're okay. Juno, you're hurt?
Shut up. Stop talking. Don't even look at me.
What about you, Momo? Are you alright?
Hold on. I'm sorry, but I couldn't do anything. I can't.
She must have been talking about Asuma.
He was right there. I could reach out and touch him, but why is it that all I can ever do is watch?
I'm no different. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep Asuma's mom safe. I loaded so many times, but...
I explained to her that the more I loaded, the worse my flashback attacks got.
Can't sit idly by when someone's in need. My ass. I couldn't do anything. I fucking suck.
Polan, you've been struggling, haven't you?
Momo hung her head like she felt guilty. Suddenly, there was an intense rumbling in the distance. It sounded like the world was ending. The noise was coming from Odaiba. Even from here, I could see Odaiba's high-rises twisting like living creatures, splitting apart and rising into the air with the reclaimed land. It was surreal.
What's going on?
Wind linked us to a news broadcast.
We are live from above Odaiba. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It is believed that there are hundreds, if not thousands of people trapped in those high-rises. All roads to Odaiba have been cut off. There is simply no escape. The Prime Minister's residence is clinging onto one of the vertical surfaces. This helicopter is 120 meters above ground, but his residence is overhead. It is currently unclear whether Prime Minister Azumaya is even alive. A group of people protesting the development of Earth simulators gathered outside the residence last night, but their well-being remains equally uncertain. The Uminomori Park and the Gai Institution right beside Odaiba are in a state of disrepair as well. As of now, there's no explanation for any of this. Oh, over there! There's a boy! And the boy is... What? He's floating?
Watch out!
Ah!
Inamori? Inamori?
An explosion rattled the sky over Odaiba. We weren't far from it, so we could see the light it cast in the distance.
Whoa! Did you see that? Did you? Someone just shot down the news chopper, right? Right?
Hey, Polly. What's going on? I'm scared.
Did Asuma do all that?
First the explosion at Guy, now this. How the hell was this even possible?
Is he using a sacrament or something?
It's far beyond that. These feats are beyond even the apparitions of Our Lady.
Momo trembled as she stared at the carnage.
We are witnessing the end. Armageddon has arrived.
This isn't physically possible. I can't explain where all that energy is coming from.
It's just digital.
You know something, Oz?
What do you mean? We talked about this, didn't we? Take quantum theory to its logical conclusion and you'll realize pretty soon that the world's digital. I didn't want to believe it.
What?
That's why I've always looked for reasons to deny it. But how can I deny it anymore? I'm seeing this shit in real life. The world's digital. We're in a goddamn simulation, ain't we? I can't deal with this. The soul ain't nowhere at all then.
Hey! Tengen!
Oz! Don't leave me alone!
I'd never seen Oz that shocked. Every one of his beliefs had been shattered. Everything that rooted him to the ground had come unstuck in an instant. Was that the sensation?
The world. A simulation. Huh?
Honestly, it didn't hit me that hard. Maybe it was cause I'd already been exposed to so much sci-fi bullshit. I'd already seen sacraments and quantum teleportation.
Oh. Huh.
This explained my saving and loading too. Oh, actually it seemed pretty clear now. You could even say that my saving and loading was evidence this world was digital.
So, I'm a simulated person. A program. And I'm in a simulation. I see how it is.
The vision I saw upon the descent.
Oh, sorry. On the descent of Our Lady in Fatima.
Her dancing sun, and that terrifying sound. This world being a simulation would explain those phenomena.
Now I could even explain how Momo incarnated.
Would that mean that beings like God and Our Lady were just people above us?
Does that mean there's a higher us up there watching the us down here?
Obviously I couldn't see them, but I couldn't help looking up at the sky.
And the one up there, he'd be the real me?
That is the concept of world layers.
Brother?
But suddenly Cicada, Kent Korihisa, appeared before us.
Kent Korihisa!
We'd finally shown his face directly. but despite how long we waited for this meeting, we weren't in a position to enjoy it.
There are Earth simulators in our world, and likewise in the simulated worlds that are run by those Earth simulators. The worlds layered below us stretch to infinity, and virtually the same applies to the worlds layered above. The location of the topmost layer is beyond my knowledge, though from the current situation, we can identify the Earth simulator that is simulating this world. Since becoming the Calamity, Asuma Soga has been wielding godlike powers. This phenomenon can be considered an intervention from above, but its extent is far beyond that of any past incidents, and no consideration is taken toward the risk of it triggering the collapse of the world. This intervention is strongly linked to Asuma Soga's will. Therefore, I assume it is being done by the Asuma Soga above. So comes the question. Which Earth simulator can the Asuma Soga above exercise such unrestricted control over?
Gaia!
Correct. I cannot speak of past incidents, such as the apparitions of the Holy Mother. But this intervention is doubtless his doing.
So, if the Asuma of this world layer wants something, the Asuma above makes it happen?
Kent nodded.
Does that mean it's Asuma who is going to bring about the end?
No. The end of the world and Asuma becoming the Calamity have no bearing upon one another. The end will come regardless of his actions. Its arrival has been predetermined from the moment this world was created.
Wait! If this world is a simulation, shouldn't it be possible to mess with the parameters or whatever to stop the end of the world?
Asuma had said that Guy could simulate the world beyond January 19th, which was when the world was supposed to end.
Or what? Do the guys above us want the end to happen?
This is a system issue. I assume you are familiar with the year 2038 problem.
Like the year 2036 problem that caused the sad morning. It was an issue with the potential to cause major computer malfunctions. The integer used to record the time in Unix-based systems would overflow after counting past 2.1 billion seconds. It was possible that this overflow would trigger major system malfunctions.
That problem applies to the world we exist in.
One had said that the world would end at Dar. I had a vague idea that that was when the overflow was set to happen too.
But the year 2038 problem is almost 100% solved. Would something like that actually happen?
Resolving it on this world layer alone is insufficient. It must be dealt with in every one of the countless world layers, flawlessly.
What?
Countless world layers, they were literally innumerable, but everything would be over if a single one of them had this error.
There's no way we can fix all of them.
Indeed. Hence, the end is inevitable.
Are you saying that error is part of how the world works? That it's fate?
The fact that no contactees thus far, despite their powers, could alter the outcome is proof.
Contactees? You said I was one of those, didn't you?
The Holy Office 513 defines contactees as beings that may have been in contact with God or the Holy Mother. My understanding is that some contactees gained miraculous powers after their encounter with an observer. Polan Takaoka, your ability to predict the future must have been acquired through one such contact event.
You're talking about how I can save and load? Well, I guess I did get that from Anon. Does that count as contact?
That's how I became a contactee. But did that even matter? Asuma became a calamity however many times I saved or loaded. I couldn't stop that. There was another eerie rumble emanating from Odaiba. This one shook even the ground we were standing on. The buildings and businesses that had been twisting like serpents suddenly stopped. Buildings and streets started falling from the vertical surfaces. They couldn't resist gravity any longer. I'd leave the matter of saving the world to Kent. He'd said that there was still a way to do that. There was something else I had to do.
Kent, take care of the world and Juno. I'll go see Asuma.
I looked at Mo and she gave me a nod.
I'm coming too.
What do you intend to accomplish?
I couldn't save his mother.
So what if it was all fated? That didn't make any of this any easier on me or Asuma. If I'd handled this better, things couldn't have turned out so messed up. I was pretty sure there was nothing I could say to heal his wounds, but...
I can't just leave him all alone. I gotta at least see him and talk to him.
Doing so will yield nothing. We were unable to prevent Asuma Soga from becoming the Calamity. He cannot be restored to his former state.
And that's why talking to him won't change anything, huh? That doesn't sit right with me. I gotta at least tell him that I'm sorry.
It was late at night, but the meeting room at the Ministry of Defense was full of people shouting.
This operation couldn't have been a more spectacular failure. Not only did we fail to eliminate the boy, we've left him completely unhinged.
The members of Project Gaia had been following the progress on the operation to seize the Gaia institution, but the outcome had been so disastrous they'd flown into a panic.
Are you telling me we should have just tightened the kid's leash? How could we have known this would happen? We couldn't possibly have anticipated these events!
He turned into a monster. This is outside the realms of human comprehension. I doubt there's anything we can do now.
It may have been a mistake to target the boy's life. We should have placated him. Then he could have been confined somewhere we could watch him.
It's easy to say that in hindsight. I'm quite sure that seeking a peaceful solution would have simply made the child more conceited.
He was always impossible to control. If he'd opened up to the media, he would have destroyed both us and the government as a whole. He has all kinds of information on us, down to the color of our underwear.
Faced with that boy and Gaia, anybody's as good as naked. Not even the US president is an exception.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the US government is breathing down our necks right now. They're saying that if we don't take care of this immediately, they're going to dispatch not only the JUSDF, but the USMC too.
Never! The day we let the US military conduct an operation in Japan is the day we should resign en masse!
This is no time to be paying any mind to appearances.
They just want to take Gaia and Soga for themselves!
But without the Americans, how can we stop him?
There was also the rat who claimed that the Vatican was behind this mess.
I could see them doing this. It's what they specialize in.
If only we were more serious when they asked us to capture that girl. We could have avoided this.
We might have seen this coming if we'd used Gaia. Perhaps we should have asked Soga to show it to us. A poorly placed joke, but...
Mr. Sunahara, how do you intend to handle this?
The Minister of Defense fell silent. He was usually composed, but on this occasion, he didn't seem himself. His forehead was sweating, his eyes wandering, and his legs fidgeting.
I'm retracting the order to kill Soga. It's the will of the Prime Minister.
Words he'd awkwardly blurted out invited a brief silence. Everyone was shocked. But the shouting resumed a moment later, even louder than before.
Retracting it will change nothing at this point.
Is the Prime Minister simply trying to skirt responsibility?
What if Soga comes to kill us? This matter won't be settled until he's dead.
We're being streamed live to the entire world! What would the world think of a country using every ounce of power at its disposal to murder a single child? Neither the public nor the international community would let us live it down. The army will contribute nothing more to this fiasco.
But then, how do we fix all this?
If we knew that, we wouldn't be in this mess!
The minister buried his face in his hands. The attempt to separate Gaia from Asuma had resulted in them losing Gaia entirely. Even if they wanted to predict the future now, they no longer had the means. As a result, they had no idea how to address this catastrophic situation. The situation was spiraling further and further out of control, but they could do nothing but watch. We made our way to Odaiba on a fishing ship we'd stumbled across. We arrived and saw the place was in a worse state than Uminomori Park. The one responsible for this destruction was sitting, hugging his knees in the remains of a collapsing station.
Asuma!
Asuma!
The scale of the ruin made it difficult to find her. Everything looked so unreal. None of it seemed like it belonged in the world we knew. It reminded me of the days that followed the sad morning. Back then, I could hear people weeping and groaning in every direction, and I was desperately trying to help them. But I couldn't hear anyone right now. We hadn't found a single living person while searching for Asuma. Was anyone here still alive? Asuma had done all this, but I could have stopped it. I missed my chance to prevent this rampage. I felt responsible myself, knowing I'd failed.
I'm sorry. I couldn't protect your mom. If you're gonna hate something, hate me. Just don't hate the world itself. Please.
This was all I could do now.
It doesn't matter.
Asuma.
It doesn't matter anymore.
I looked at him, but the confident, cocky boy who'd looked down on everyone else was nowhere in sight.
Mother, the world, none of it matters. This world just makes me feel empty. I want to destroy all of it.
Because it's a simulation?
That's got nothing to do with it. It's because this world is trash, and you're both trash for trying to save it. We're all just copies of the real world. The things you feel are just make-believe. Oh, but Lucia.
Huh?
You're the only one who doesn't exist in any other world layer. You were created by the Gaia above. Created by people who are like gods to us. They haven't solved the year 2038 problem either. That's why Gaia began independent calculations in an attempt to solve it. It went through an unimaginable number of patterns. It found the simulation with the highest probability of success, then ran that simulation. That's the world we're in now. That's the world layer we're in. It's the only one with you in it, Lucia. Well, probability of success is still so small it might as well be 0. But you were the god's last resort. Does that make you feel better about yourself? The end is coming anyway. They threw you into this world, Lucia, but not even you can write its course. And that's why this layer is just another failure. It's meaningless. Not even those gods can solve the year 2038 problem. Everyone's going to die. The system error is going to take us all back to 0. No one can change the world, not you or anyone else. So just give up and disappear!
Mama.
Asuma had told me a few hours ago that Momo hadn't shown up in the Earth simulations. That meant she was an irregularity unique to this world layer, kinda like an actual being sent by the gods themselves. She probably hadn't expected to learn about her origins here now, even so Momo didn't hang her head as she listened.
Thank you for telling me why I'm here, Asuma. I'm surprised, but
She just kept looking straight ahead.
it's just as I said before. It doesn't matter to me that God may have arranged each of my actions. Even if my sense of duty and my feelings are artificial, I will simply do what I want to do.
Momo looked at me. I looked back at her and nodded.
Polan and I, together, will save the world, and everyone in it.
Obviously, Asuma, you're one of those people we could save. So come on. Come with us. Come on, please!
You won't save anything.
Our words weren't getting through to him.
It's all pointless! Just admit that it's pointless! This world has to be pointless! A world like this shouldn't be allowed to go on any longer! Why don't you get it? Why?
Asuma! Come on!
It's pointless. It's pointless! It has to be pointless! I won't wait for the end. I'll finish off the world right now!
What? What do you mean?
I pulled the plug on this world just a moment ago. I made something. It's up there, in space.
Made what?
A huge asteroid. It'll fall to the Earth soon. It's too close for anyone to evacuate. Hey, do you get it now? It's pointless. The world's gonna be destroyed before the end even happens. I'm gonna destroy it myself. But who cares, right? Not even the world getting destroyed means anything.
Asuma, delete that asteroid right now!
Don't tell me what to do. I don't have to listen to anyone.
Asuma!
I reached out to grab his arm. But before I could, he vanished. My hand grasped for nothing.
Shit, where is he?
I looked around, but I couldn't see him.
At this rate, Asuma's gonna abandon all hope.
I understood why he felt that way. It was my fault he changed. It was all cause I couldn't help him. We wouldn't have been in this situation if I'd just done what I had to do. In that case, I knew I had to load, but
Shit!
I couldn't shake the fear that those flashbacks were gonna mess me up again. The thought of them kept me from loading.
I
was incompetent and useless. About half an hour later, a siren rang inside my BMI. It made every one of my hairs stand up on end. We'd been trying to learn what we could about the asteroid, but hadn't gotten anywhere. We couldn't reach Oz either. The sound of that siren ringing out amidst the chaos was familiar. I didn't know if it was exactly the same, but it was like the one that I'd heard on the sad morning. It was the National Safeguard Siren. It was the siren used to alert citizens about imminent danger.
Breaking news. NASA is conducting an emergency press conference in the United States. In the lead-up to this conference, Chief Cabinet Secretary Sugo has declared that all citizens must watch it. If you know anyone currently sleeping, please wake them up and have them watch immediately.
Whoa, it's so late, but all the billboards in Tokyo are on. Wait, no, it's not just Tokyo. They're on everywhere in the country.
All news media have canceled their programming to show the press conference.
I checked 4chan, social media and video sites. It was clear everyone was panicking after seeing NASA's press conference.
About an hour ago, we confirmed the sudden appearance of an asteroid.
Kurz, weil ich gerade merke, bei uns ist aktuell ziemlich viel Gewitter und Zeug. Also, falls Stream auf einmal weg ist, dann liegt's am Wetter bei mir, höchstwahrscheinlich. Und ja, nur so als kleine Info. About an hour ago, we confirmed the sudden appearance of an asteroid within the moon's orbit, about so and so few kilometers from Earth.
We named this asteroid X-2038. It is roughly 3,000 meters in diameter. We have concluded from its brightness that it is a silicaceous asteroid. We were unable to see the asteroid until now. It managed to elude even Atlas. It is as if the asteroid did not exist prior to its detection, and appeared literally from out of nowhere. It is normally impossible for an object this massive to appear so suddenly. As such, we checked our observation equipment for any malfunctions, but found everything to be working as intended. With the help of observatories around the world, we performed countless checks, and, unfortunately, concluded that this asteroid indeed exists. We have calculated from its trajectory that it will collide with Earth. And that impact will occur approximately 6 hours from now. The predicted point of impact is in the Pacific Ocean. And in the worst case scenario, a mere 900 kilometers from Japan's Chiba prefecture. We anticipate that this impact will generate a tsunami that will reach many countries bordering the Pacific Ocean. The effects will be especially catastrophic in Japan, where the height of the seawall could range between 50 and 120 meters.
Is there any way to prevent the impact?
Where's the safest place to go?
How true are the rumors that you actually covered up that the asteroid was approaching?
Are you certain your equipment is working properly?
Quiet! I repeat, the impact is in 6 hours. There is nowhere you can run.
We have a live broadcast from the White House.
Everything NASA has just explained is this will be the greatest disaster in the history of mankind and will cause the deaths of hundreds of millions. It is unclear how many people will survive. This will be the greatest trial humans have ever faced. But please, try to remain calm. God help us all.
After the president's last few words, which were probably his true feelings slipping out, all the journalists in the White House press conference room ran out. The president simply watched. He looked stressed beyond belief. I knew that would only cause more panic.
The world will be consumed by chaos unless we do something. What we need is Kent. We can stop this, right? Tell me we can, please.
Kent wasn't here, but Mono desperately called out to him anyway. And he actually appeared.
Unfortunately, the specific event of Asuma Soga materializing an asteroid was not part of the Fate Line's prediction. Therefore, at this point I have no countermeasure against it. A large percentage of my resources is being allocated for my plan to save humanity from the end. I will take action to eliminate Asuma Soga. But the asteroid still needs to be dealt with. And that I cannot do.
Huh? Eliminate? You'll kill him?
If the calamity that is Asuma Soga is left unchecked, humanity cannot be saved from the end.
But even if you eliminate him, the asteroid will still cause mass destruction. If you can't do anything about it, we'll have to stop it ourselves.
Thwarting an asteroid impact. Besides Asuma Soga, the only other individual with the potential of accomplishing such a feat is...
Kent looked straight at me.
You, Polan Takaoka.
What? Whoa, you're not making any sense. There's no way I can do that.
Up until now, I'd used my saving and loading to make the impossible possible, but now I knew that stuff came at a cost. Although this was way wilder than anything I'd dealt with so far. It was a goddamn asteroid.
I can't. I couldn't even save Asuma's mom.
Polan.
Momo grasped my hand.
Let's do it. All of us. Together.
Momo.
I'm the useless one, and I'm always relying on you. So maybe I'm in no position to say something like this, but I think we should all work together and do whatever we can to stop it. I'm sure that it'll work out. We'll figure something out.
No way.
Hold on.
We're dealing with something on a totally different scale to everything we've faced so far. It's too much for us.
I gently let go of her hand. I couldn't even save Asma or his mom. How was I supposed to handle a global crisis? There was no way. It was useless. Just got some crazy app and deluded myself into thinking I could save the world.
Stop the asteroid threat, and we will have a chance of survival. Your success would let me set my final plan in motion. Not that I can fully guarantee its outcome, of course.
My aim is to cause a world line collapse, which should lead to a universal fix of all world layers. And to accomplish that,
rather than hacking into our own world as gods, we must hack into God's world.
What?
Only through this can the end be averted. Pull on Takaoka. That is why. The asteroid impact must be stopped at all costs.
Hold on.
Seriously, I can't.
It loaded so many times and I still blew it. I knew the same thing would happen if I tried this time. Ay.
I took Rosario to the hospital. Looks like she's gonna make it.
Thank you so much, Cross.
Don't mention it. I'm just looking out for my own. The traffic's crazy here. Everyone's desperate to evacuate.
The sun hadn't risen in Japan yet, but the city was already in a state of panic. Looting, terrorism, mass suicides. Water itself was crumbling. I didn't know if it was a good idea to leave this place. No matter where we were, we wouldn't survive the asteroid impact. The number of casualties was probably going to surpass that of the sad morning. Polon was hanging his head, looking very down. He'd been like this for a while now. It wasn't like him. The situation must have hit him pretty hard. Polon, who looked forward and rushed ahead, was the one who'd given me courage, but I couldn't pin all my hopes on him. I was a member of Nakano's symphonies too, after all. I had to do something about this gloomy atmosphere.
So, I'd like to hear your ideas for how to stop the asteroid. What can we do to prevent it?
My question garnered no responses. I'd only asked casually, but I knew full well that solutions wouldn't come so easily.
I put it on Hack as a new quest. Meteor Hack.
Huh?
But it wasn't even a quest this time. The reaction to it was mixed.
NASA said nothing could be done about it. The asteroid's way too close. It could have been stopped if we'd known about it earlier. But this whole situation's irregular.
The asteroid is 3,000 meters in size, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't really fathom how dangerous that was.
Let's look at impacts from the past. One of the most famous impacts is the Tunguska one. It happened in the Siberian region of Russia in 1908. There was an unidentified explosion high in the air, and trees within the 30 to 50 kilometer radius caught fire. Apparently, the shockwave was so strong, it shattered the windows of houses up to 1,000 kilometers away.
Apparently, evidence substantial enough to prove the involvement of a meteor had yet to be found, though.
Based on the explosion's energy, the projected size of the meteor was between 3 and 70 meters. That's a lot smaller than the one we're dealing with.
Next, there's Chelyabinsk. That one happened in 2013, so there are plenty of recordings. The meteor was 17 meters in diameter. It blew up and broke apart in midair. The affected area stretched 180 kilometers to the north and south, and 80 kilometers east and west. The shockwave caused windows to shatter.
And it was just 17 meters.
Hey, the dinosaurs went extinct because of an asteroid, right?
Yeah, that's a popular theory. Apparently, the Chicxulub crater in Mexico was created by the asteroid that caused the extinction.
How big was it?
All of this is hypothetical. It was between 10 and 15 kilometers wide.
Damn, that's huge!
By the way, the top 3 craters in the world are called the 3 greatest impacts. There's the Chicxulub crater from the impact that killed the dinosaurs at 160 kilometers. Then there's the Sudbury crater in Canada at 160 kilometers. And finally, the Fredefort structure in South Africa at 180 kilometers. The energy from Chicxulub's impact created a tsunami that's estimated to have been 300 meters tall. It also tore into the Earth, reaching as far down as 25 kilometers. Magma spilled out, and weather changed across the globe. They say that extinction of the dinosaurs was a result of both the impact and the resulting change in weather.
Asima's asteroid was less than half the size of that one, but it would still cause catastrophic damage. Also, in his current state, he could easily create larger asteroids, and as many as he liked.
A 3,000-meter diameter asteroid will be plenty destructive, and it's predicted to hit the ocean off the coast of Tokyo. It'll cause a tsunami when it makes contact. And just like the NASA administrator said, countries bordering the Pacific will suffer massive damage.
Thank you very much. I've got a better idea of the size now. I've also come to realize that the situation's graver than I thought. I hope there's something that can turn it all around.
There was a movie like that, wasn't there?
A movie?
That old one, made about 40 years ago?
Yeah, that one. The one where they put a nuke inside an asteroid heading for Earth and blow it to pieces. That was fiction, but we can copy it, right?
Sorry, it's not that easy.
Miss Kumar joined the conversation.
How's the situation?
It's not looking good, but I'll keep trying.
I'd asked her to contact universities and academic societies to ask the experts for solutions. They'd be a better source of ideas than someone like me.
Why can't we copy the movie? Not enough time?
It's 3,000 meters in diameter. You'd need a whole lot of energy to shatter an asteroid of that size, and we don't have the means to get the amount we'd need into space. It's also too close for us to divert its trajectory away from Earth with a nuke.
Maybe Asuma had determined the size and distance of his asteroid to remove that as an option. And even if launching a nuclear bomb into space seemed like it would work, that kind of effort would need international coordination. It wasn't something we could put into motion. Perhaps thinking strictly in terms of the physical was a bad idea.
Hey, what would happen if Kent eliminated Asuma before it hit?
What are you... Wait, that's a good question.
Asuma was the one who created it, right? If he disappeared, wouldn't the asteroid disappear with him?
The two are independent of each other. The only reason I am undertaking the elimination of this world layer's Asuma is to prevent any further global-scale environmental manipulation from occurring. Currently, Asuma Soga is highly synchronized with the Asuma above, enabling the two to have mutual awareness. This means what Asuma wishes for in this world is perceived by the Asuma above. It was Asuma in the upper world layer that created the asteroid, not the one here. Therefore, even if the Asuma in this layer were to die, the asteroid would not disappear with him. And the same holds true for the Asuma above, under the assumption that we somehow manage to eliminate him. The only way to delete that asteroid is to have the Asuma above alter Gaia's parameters.
Yeah. That means all we can do now is pray to God, huh?
Colin was right. This really was too great a risk for mere humans. I knew that I fully understood it, but surely there was something we could do. There was nothing we could do, but even so. Momo was standing near me in silence. She was looking up past meteor impacts. She wasn't alone. Cross and Wind were helping her. Everyone was sharing videos about those impacts. Nobody was saying it, but I could sense their despair. They were focused on the Chelyabinsk event from 2013. It was cause that was the most thoroughly recorded event. There were recordings from multiple angles thanks to all the witnesses, and a lot of the footage was on the internet. The clips that had been picked up by news media right after it happened were the ones with the most views. But there were a lot of recordings that didn't break triple or even double digits. Most of them ended with a couple of minutes, and some were just a few seconds long. Momo and the others were using specialized apps to increase the clarity of certain parts of the videos, then sharing them over BMI. They'd been doing that for a while. I was too busy feeling sorry for myself to join in though.
I think the Chelyabinsk event and the current asteroid have some features in common. NASA and other organizations all over the world are keeping an eye out for meteors and asteroids likely to hit Earth. But it seems as if nobody noticed the Chelyabinsk one until just before its impact. It was almost as if the 17-meter meteor appeared out of nowhere next to Earth. Don't you think it's similar to the meteor hack?
The asteroid we have now isn't a natural phenomenon. Asuma just wished it into existence. You shouldn't try to look for patterns where there aren't any. That's what conspiracy theorists do.
Right. I'm sorry.
But if our world was an Earth simulation, then weren't the events of the year 2013, when Chelyabinsk happened, also confined to this simulation? We were dealing with a situation Asuma had caused on a whim. In that case, it was possible that Chelyabinsk was also God's whim. It was like God was doing a little trolling. In a world like this, stuff like scientific evidence probably didn't mean much to begin with. Our world had miracles and supernatural phenomena, quantum teleportation, sacraments, the end, the appearance of an asteroid, Momo's incarnation, saving and loading. This was a world built on the whims of those in the world layer above us. We were like guinea pigs in a little plexiglass box. I felt as if even the thoughts in my head were the result of someone messing with certain parameters. The logic of the world I'd believed to be real had been broken apart. The despair, the feeling there was nothing we could do, they were just growing stronger. It'd be great if we could pray to God to save us, but God had never been the best listener. What do you think, Anon?
Yeah, right. Like you'd answer me either.
Momo was doing her best. She wanted to save the world, and that sense of duty was pulling her forward. She was searching for hints, looking at every clip that caught her eye, playing them over and over and over. Her behavior was almost obsessive. She really, truly wanted to save the world. Momo was something else. But it was impossible. A new video started playing. She shared it with me too. I watched it, but I wasn't paying attention. Once it was over, it went back to the start. It ended again and restarted again. Again and again. Again. I noticed something about the video. Something I could make out right when the meteor blew up. The footage went all white after the explosion. But what caught my eye was the moment before that. I played it again. I hadn't noticed it on the previous videos, but...
Hey.
Paulon? What is it?
About this video you just sent me.
Huh? Yes? Yeah?
Right before the meteor explodes, it looks like it gets hit by something that flies up from behind. Something even faster than the meteor itself. Can you see it?
Huh? Really?
It's in 2010 quality, so it's hard to tell. I used the app to increase its clarity, but this is the best it can do.
Now that you mention it, I guess I can see it.
Can we contact the person who took this video?
I doubt it. This isn't the original video. Looking at the account, it's a re-upload.
I see.
The original was probably out there somewhere. But even if we found it, there was no guarantee we'd be able to contact the uploader right away. The video was more than 20 years ago.
Sorry, I guess I'm just imagining things.
Yeah, I shouldn't be wasting all our time on false hopes.
Wait, that's actually an interesting theory.
Miss Litt seemed curious.
If something had hit it from behind, what could the mysterious object have been? A detached piece of the meteor? No, the gap in their relative velocity is too wide. A fragment couldn't have caught up with it.
Was it a missile or something?
That would mean that someone successfully shot it down, right? 20 years have passed. You'd think that whichever country, organization, or individual that pulled that off would have claimed the glory by now.
So, did another meteor just happen to collide with it?
That would mean both were on an almost identical trajectory.
Miss Litt tilted her head to one side and smiled.
All right! Who wants to try replaying this moment in an Earth simulator?
An Earth simulator? You mean you want us to go back to the Gaia institution?
Gaia was under Asuma's control, though. Even if we snuck in there, we wouldn't be able to use it.
No. I don't mean Gaia. Japan and the Vatican aren't the only places operating Earth simulators behind closed doors. Officially, development on all of them has ceased, but lots of countries are still running sims in secret.
And you have connections to those places?
You'd better believe I do. I pulled some strings and got permission to use one of the Earth simulators in the US. Pretty good on short notice, huh?
Who did you ask for help? Oz?
No, I can't even contact Oz. Kaoru and No are looking for him, though. I asked Kurisu. She has an above-board image, but I'll have you know she's involved in plenty of shady stuff behind the scenes.
Okay. A few minutes later, Miss Litt shared the simulation data with us.
Check it in VR mode.
There was no point to any of this. It wouldn't help at all. That's how I felt, but I couldn't stop myself from turning on VR mode.
Set it to 9:20 and 26 seconds local time. We'll start 10 seconds before the explosion.
I see it!
Whoa! Takaoka was heckin' right!
It's possible that by pulverizing the meteor, the object reduced the lethality of this event and saved lives.
Aber das erinnert mich. Bin ich gerade mit. Egal.
What could the object be?
I don't know. We need to analyze it more thoroughly, but there's no time for that. Though I can say it's something that might qualify as supernatural.
But what about it? How does it help? It's just one detail from a past event. It doesn't even hint at a solution to the asteroid coming at us right now.
If there's no time to launch nuclear bombs into space, perhaps we could use something that's already in space?
Like what?
This might be an absurd idea, but couldn't we make use of all the space debris in Earth's orbit? Perhaps we could use the SA-4D too. Would that be feasible?
So you're thinking of recreating Chelyabinsk?
Everyone fell silent. Momo was right. That really was an absurd idea.
Like Miss Kumar said, the odds of something like that happening? We'd be talking about a supernatural event.
That's true. But if we tried to reproduce all the conditions and get every variable right, it could work. Couldn't it?
I felt like Momo was losing her cool. She was clinging onto a scenario with next to no chance of ever happening. There was nothing to it. The whole idea was a false hope.
The thing hurtling toward Earth this time is far larger than the one that exploded over Chelyabinsk. As I mentioned, it would take an enormous amount of energy to pierce and destroy this asteroid. I'm not sure there is debris that would fit the bill.
The debris catalog.
Huh?
I found it while looking into asteroids. The debris catalog records the data of all orbital debris, greater than 3 centimeters in size.
By all, do you mean all?
Yes, all confirmed debris.
How can we check the list?
It's on the internet. Anyone can open it.
But
All right, nice. I'll check the catalog.
yes, this thing. The brick. Yeah.
Thankfully, this asteroid is silicaceous rather than ferrous. Providing the projectile is suitable, it can be destroyed. We'll need more than mass alone to destroy an asteroid, though. We'll need to know its orbital position, too. The asteroid will enter the atmosphere in about 5 hours, so we have to identify the debris that can make it to the asteroid in time.
And if we want to hit it, we'll need to be able to control that debris remotely, from the ground.
So we need debris we can communicate with. Let's look at the list.
All right, I'll hit up the hackers I know. We need everyone we can get for this.
I'll try calling my friends too.
The experts I know are dying to do something about this. I'll share this idea with them right away.
Hey, calm down, you guys.
It wasn't just Momo now, everyone, even Miss Lid, was getting involved.
It's not gonna work. It's just not. We can't do this. You know we can't.
Polon, that's enough. You're nothing but dead weight right now. You couldn't do what you had to, and it broke you. I get how you feel, so shut up for now. The rest of us right here are still trying our best.
Cross.
It's your childish and embarrassing ideals that brought us all together. Don't forget that.
I didn't know what to say to him, for I might have been able to stand with them and face the future, to rush ahead with them. But now I knew my limits. I couldn't face the future. After about half an hour, Miss Lid contacted us again.
Listen up, everyone. We found debris that tick our checkboxes.
Huh?
You did?
I had some experts help me, and I even got to use the QCDC again. I had a little help from Amadeus, too.
You mean Kent?
No, Kurisu. Anyway, I got some of the world's best brains on this, and they managed to find some debris that could do the trick.
Seriously?
We won't be using actual debris, though. We're going to borrow satellites from the Astraea project.
The Astraea project?
You know about the space elevator that's being built, right?
Yeah, there was one under construction in the Pacific Ocean.
They're already sending material for it up there on a regular schedule. It's being used for space resource development missions still in the proof of concept phase. The Astraea project is one of them. Its mission was to use satellites to tow lots of small asteroids from the Apollo group closer to Earth. The asteroids are metallic and about 500 meters in diameter.
Then in the future, asteroids collected that way could be used to further development, huh? It made sense.
And the satellites used for this proof of concept, Astraea 1, 2, and 3, all happen to be stationed at the space elevator's orbital platform.
So that means...
The idea is to crash them into X-2038. If the calculations are right, the impact would be in relative distance, 50,000 kilometers from Earth.
They calculated all that so quickly. That's amazing.
But Miss Lid didn't look too excited. It didn't seem like this strategy alone would resolve the crisis.
But that impact wouldn't be enough to outright destroy X-2038. Even if things went according to plan, only about 40 to 50% of the asteroid would be destroyed. The scattered pieces would still be enough to cause major damage.
It wasn't gonna be that easy, huh?
That's why we're looking into another plan too. One utilizing the Space Guard system. It's the space defense system deployed by the JUSDF.
Space Guard, yeah, that sounded familiar. The JUSDF Space Force set that up themselves while the G26 nations deployed the SA-4D. Though unlike SA-4D, the Space Guard used large missiles placed in orbit, which seemed relatively simple.
There are 9 Space Guard missiles that can intercept X-2038. They could be used as a follow-up to the Astraeosats.
And all of that would be enough to neutralize even a 3,000-meter asteroid, huh?
Though, no matter which strings I pull, I can't find anyone who can connect to Space Guard's HQ. It's looking like I have no choice but to hack into it. The security there is no joke either, so it'll be a race against time.
Ken could probably handle it, but he kinda had his hands full, didn't he?
Cross, Wind, can you go on the internet and get help from the hackers who have joined in on the quest?
They both nodded. Scientists, experts, even hackers from all over the world were coming together to deal with this situation. While I...
Status report. What's going on?
Und da dann nächste Woche weiter. Und ja, kann gut sein, dass nächste Woche Finale ist. Vielleicht Freitag, aber wahrscheinlich ja Samstag.